Let's talk about that invisible wall, the one that pops up right when you're about to start something that could actually change your life. We're going to dig into the real reason you procrastinate, and I'll tell you right now, it is not what you think. You know the feeling, right? You've got this big goal, maybe it's starting a business or learning a new skill, something you know would be amazing for you, but when it's actually time to do the work, you just hit a wall. You feel this heavy, draining sense of laziness. It's so frustrating, isn't it? Well, here's an idea that might change everything for you. What if I told you that feeling has nothing to do with a character flaw? That you're not actually lazy and you don't have some secret lack of discipline? Turns out there's something else going on under the hood. So first things first, let's just get this straight. We have to reframe the problem. It is not about being lazy. Let's just take that label completely off the table because we need to find out what's really going on. See, this whole thing isn't about avoiding the work. It's about avoiding a feeling, a very specific, kind of uncomfortable feeling that your brain, just trying to do its job and protect you, has basically flagged as a threat. So the work itself, not the enemy. The feeling that comes with the work, that's what we're running from. Okay, so what is this crazy, powerful feeling that we are so desperate to avoid? Getting a clear diagnosis is the first step to fixing anything. So let's put a name to what we're actually running from. That feeling we're avoiding, it's the discomfort of being a beginner. Yeah, that one. It's that cringy, awkward feeling of knowing you're not good at this, yet. It's looking around and seeing other people who seem like they're miles ahead of you. It's that huge gap between the incredible results you picture in your head and, well, the clumsy first attempt that's right there in front of you. That's the emotion your brain is trying to save you from. And this is exactly how we get the diagnosis wrong. We tell ourselves, I'm so lazy, but what we're really doing is avoiding the discomfort of trying something new. We say, I just don't have any discipline, when we're actually just afraid of looking unimpressive. We blame the work itself, when the real problem is that our first messy attempts just don't give us that hit of validation we're hoping for. And this creates this psychological loop that keeps us completely stuck. Here's how it works. You take that first step. Almost immediately, you feel that awkwardness, that discomfort. And your brain, which is hardwired for survival, flags this emotional pain as some kind of danger. So what does it do? It offers you a perfectly logical-sounding escape hatch. It says, hey, you should probably rest, or, you really need to think about this more, or the classic, it's just not the right time. It thinks it's protecting you, but what it's really protecting you from is growth. So if that's the trap, how do we get out of it? Well, it comes down to a really important mental shift. It's a whole new way of looking at it, and it's called the price of entry. This right here is the absolute key. We always think we need to feel motivated or confident before we can act, but that's completely backwards. The real ticket to making progress is simply being willing to be bad at something for a little while. It's your willingness to feel and look completely and totally unimpressive. Let's give this a proper name, okay? We'll call it the awkward phase. And here's the thing, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's the cost of admission for getting good at anything that actually matters. The moment you see this phase not as a sign you're failing, but as proof that you've paid your ticket and you're in the game, oh man, that changes everything. So what happens when you decide that the awkward phase is just the price you have to pay? Well, you can stop fighting it, and you can actually start to embrace it. And that is where the magic really starts to happen. It all boils down to making a conscious choice. You stop waiting around, hoping to feel good or feel ready. Instead, you decide, you know what? I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to let it feel awkward, on purpose. You're leaning into the discomfort instead of running away from it. And the difference is just night and day. When you're running from that feeling, every action feels heavy and forced. Being consistent is a constant battle, and the end result? Procrastination. But when you embrace that feeling as the price of entry, taking action feels lighter, easier. Consistency starts to feel natural, and the outcome? Well, that's real progress. And you know what the most empowering part of all of this is? This isn't about some huge, dramatic personal overhaul. You don't have to fix your lazy self, because you were never lazy in the first place. All you did was change your relationship with one single feeling. You just stopped letting the fear of being a beginner call all the shots. So, what's the real-world impact of this one simple shift in thinking? Let's wrap up by looking at how everything really changes. It all just boils down to this. One single thing you need to accept. The acceptance that feeling awkward and unimpressive is the non-negotiable price of entry for doing anything that matters. And when you truly, genuinely accept that, action just loses all its weight. Showing up day after day is no longer a war with yourself. And that feeling you used to call laziness, it just disappears. Because it was never really there to begin with. It was just a mask for the fear of being a beginner. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. That goal, that project, that habit you've been putting off forever, instead of seeing it as this huge mountain you have to climb, try to see it as an arena you get to enter. So, what price of entry, what initial phase of awkwardness are you going to decide to pay first?